had a watch of them. You'll have heard stuff around the town. What have you made of them so far?
Yeah, I think they've got off to a really good start. Obviously, they came up stuck against Wigan, but collectively, I thought when they played against Saints, they really stuck in there for a good large proportion of the game. And when they played against Cass, they obviously dominated them, didn't they, from start to finish? So I think you can really see they're starting to throw the ball around a little bit, starting to express themselves, and the new signings they made, they've been a good additions for them. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to a real tough contest.
What have you made of their pack so far? There's obviously some notable names in there, players you've come up against many a time, players you've played with, I think, Chris Hill. What have you made of him? Yeah,
I've always, like I say, you just mentioned Chris Hill there, I've always looked up to him. He's been an absolutely terrific servant to rugby league, and he's still doing it week on week out, and it's going to be a tough test in the middle with him. He really does lead that pack, and you've got obviously Big Seb who's been starting, and obviously he's an handful to put down. But I think they've got a lot of young kids coming through as well. Obviously Harry Rushton's coming back from injury soon, so they just seem to be really well organised and well drilled from the academy. And I know Andy Kelly does a really good job down there, so every time I speak to him, he always speaks highly of what they're doing. So yeah, it's like I say, they're a strong team. It's going to be tough.
How would you assess not your individual start, but as a collective? How would you assess it? I'm not meaning just the results, performance perspective and all that context. Where would you say you're at for a team that's in round 4?
Okay, yeah. Like I said, we obviously we did really well, didn't we, first 2 rounds, and then we probably dropped off. Not in terms of effort, but probably just in terms of smarts, really, which has been costing us in key moments in games, and that's what games are now. When you have your crucial key moments within a game, and I don't think it's lack of effort from across the board. It's just not taking them chances.
Do people look at results too much at this time of year and not look enough at performances? Is that what everyone should be looking? I know we're in a results-based industry, Mike.
Yeah.
Is that what people need to be looking at, performances over results?
So I suppose, like you say, we're obviously in a performance, driven industry, but I think you probably can take a big gauge of it roughly around round 10, can't you, where teams are at. But there's obviously clearly some teams what are flying high at the minute, and some teams what are way below, and then we've probably got a few teams what are probably just in that middle, and we're always here at KR striving to be the best, not just happy where we are. But then again, saying that, I remember playing Wigan round 1 and they ended up losing, and then they went on and won a grand final. So not all the time that performances are dictated at the start of the season. You've got to really build your performance to the back end when it really matters.
You've been a fan back in, before you've been a player. Do you get why the supporters and just casual viewers like to jump to conclusions early and sort of come to a final assessment of how teams are going to do early in the season? Because they just want their team to win, don't they, at the end of the day? Yeah,
of course they do, and rightly so. But like you say, sometimes you can see if a team's really putting the effort in, but they're just coming unstuck just a little bit. You can sort of see the gauge. And obviously we live in a world where social media, so it's quick and easy to voice your opinion, but sometimes it's not all the be on. It's not the general feel, in camp type thing, if you know what I mean. So from the outside, you might be looking at it one way, but in camp here, especially at KR, we're happy in terms of our effort. We just got to be better in terms of our smarts.
What is it like for you when you play Huddersfield, like from a personal perspective? Are you in Meltham or Newsom?
Yeah, I live in Meltham, so I live in Old Firth.
So how does it work for you? Does the banter rack up, or is it just another game week?
It's probably just another game week, really. I probably only get one luxury, and is that I only travel 10 minutes to the game, so that's perfect, rather than an hour 40 travelling to Hull. But that's the only luxury I get. But in terms of it being any different to any sort of away game, it's not really. No, I'm trying to prep as just any other game, really. Probably a little bit more of a feel in terms of because more family can arrive and attend, so it's always a nice occasion in that department.
Are they a family Huddersfield fans, or are they George King fans? Or
Yeah. We've got a few diehard Huddersfield fans, definitely. Somewhat converted, obviously. Now they know me and family and stuff. So, but yeah, there's a nice mixture.
Lovely. That'll do me nicely. Cheers, Paul.
Cheers, Joey.
Hi, George. It's Gary. All right.
Hi, Gary. All right.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Just following on from what you've just been talking about, you could probably get the bus to Huddersfield, couldn't you?
What, to the game?
Yeah, probably could if you wanted to.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, quite easily. 2 buses I need to get.
Is it just a case of you meet the rest of the lads at the ground, or just sort of meet up at a location and get on the team bus, sort of like at say Brighouse maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, so roughly we all tried to meet. Every away games, depending obviously, what M62 traffic can be like sometimes, but we're lucky that we're playing on Saturday, so as preparation will be pretty normal, pretty normal routine. We won't have to go outside the box to travel a long distance. So yeah, we'll all collectively meet before the game and start the prep in the right department.
So it's literally just like the distance you've got to go to where you meet up is the only sort of difference to any other normal away game, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I've just treated it like any other away game. It's just a luxury that I've just got to travel 10 minutes. That's fine.
You mentioned before about seeing things on social media, being easy to sort of voice your opinion on social media and things like that. Is it easy or otherwise to sort of keep that out from sort of bringing it into the camp? Like you're thinking like, oh, people are saying this about us, and is it easy to keep that away from the camp? Maybe.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, a coach always told me, we're a coach at Warrington when I was at Warrington at the time, said you shouldn't be looking at social media even when you're winning through the good times. So never look at it even through the bad times. So it's just trying to keep yourself grounded, really. Even when you're winning and you're doing really well, it's keeping yourself grounded and away from social media, making sure that what you're doing to best prepare yourself for games is absolutely crucial.
Now on to you. I did a bit of research before. Your first team debut was June 2014, so it's 10 years this year. How was the game changed over the decade, would you say?
Probably a little bit more. I feel probably there's a lot of similarities in the terms of the teams, in that it's like a war of nutrition now. Whereas I felt when I first started, I felt like it were the team that had the best, more skill or more, in terms of being the best in the certain like in the ruck and stuff like that, being very more skill on set. Whereas now I feel like it's a bit more nutrition, so a lot more on the S&C's type of thing. Whereas fitness, probably the fitter you are, or the fitter the team, the probably at the back end of games, that's when they're going to score more points.
And the games are sort of tighter, and that's where the fitness sort of really kicks in, isn't it? Like the less fit, the teams without that fitness will drop away, and the teams with that fitness will push through.
Yeah, exactly. You've just hit it there.
Is that a change, perhaps for the better, or would you say, would you prefer to see the skill win out?
Yeah, I know what you mean, because when I was younger, I was always taught to play what you see. And like you say, like the game now, it is very structured, and I do see a lot of young kids now coming into a system where they're already structure orientated, and they don't tend to play what they see, and we always try and encourage it here to find the balance. Whereas at some teams it's more like set in stone. You get to this part of the field to do this, and sometimes it can deteriorate from that aspect of that player being a good player, or is it just a robot type thing? And you've got to find the right balance within a team, I feel, and that's probably where the game's probably edging towards type thing, or is at the moment. Whereas I felt when I was first playing, I always felt like I was in an environment where I could express myself. Probably a little bit more than now, because if you know what I mean, it's just in terms of where the game's gone.
And just one last one on Chris Hill. I mean, Chris Hill as a teammate, I suppose, is like a dream teammate. As an opponent, is he a bit of a nightmare to face?
Yeah, he can be. Yeah, definitely. He's been a super player, been a role model for me when I was at Warrington. He's been even in the international game, he's done really well for England, and I can't speak highly enough of him. He's a top bloke as well when he pays for a coffee. Very rare, but when he does, it's certainly pleasing.
He's not flogged to a bathroom, has he?
I think he flogged my brother anyway. I think he managed to get him a few grand for a little bathroom.
You did well on paying for a coffee very rarely.
No, he's a good bloke, and he's a good player.
Cheers, thank you very much appreciated.
No worries.
Hi George, it's Martin from League Express.
Hi Martin.
Just a quick one, mate. How is it different at Hull KR this year compared to last year? Because you lost two real key guys, didn't you? In Sean Kenny-Dowell, obviously he's still on the coaching staff, but Ben Lynette as well, who've both been there for a long time and gave loads of experience to the side, which obviously you're lacking this year. Has that made you take on more? You've obviously you're a leader at the club, aren't you? You're a key figure. Does it feel as though you've got a lot more responsibility this year?
Yeah. Like you said, and I wouldn't change naturally something just because a couple of people have left. You mentioned that Kane Lynette and Sean Kenny-Dowell left, but other players what have left, like Sam Wood and Ethan Ryan, even a few more others as well, like good core group of players that managed to get us to the stage that we're at now. So it's always going to be difficult when you're adding, 9, 10 plus players into the squad. It's going to take time. You can't just change a good core of what we had and the group that we had, overnight basically. So it will take time. But like you say, for me to step up I'd do that anyway. I'd just do it naturally anyway. We've already got really good leaders even before in terms of Elliot, Minnie, Dean Hadley. There's loads. There's loads. There's plenty. And but like you say, I'll always lead from the front when I can, and in the background.
And of course, last year you finished fourth in the league, and you got right to the semi-final of the playoffs. You got to the final of the Challenge Cup. Which was better than Hull KR have achieved for donkey's years, really, to be honest. But the trouble is, when you do that, it does place pressure on you, doesn't it, to, at the very least, repeat that sort of achievement, if not exceed it. I mean, do you feel a bit under a bit more pressure this year because of rising expectations, particularly from the fans, of course, who all want to, see more success?
Yeah, of course, and you mentioned the word expectation. It's massive. I think I've come on here before and mentioned it. Is when I first joined the club, the expectation was just to survive. The year after, the expectation was to get into playoffs, and the expectation then that we got into the playoffs, the expectation is to win, and and now with the expectation, obviously because we nearly won, is to go on and do that again. So it's the expectation always grows as the club grows, and rightly so. And fans pay good hard-earned money. And even as us as players as well, we come to training, put all the hard work in. Why wouldn't you want to be rewarded for that, all the hard work that you do? And there's 12 other Super League clubs got their own expectations, and we've got our expectations as well now as a good core group of players that we're building here. So it's it's certainly something that I know that I want to do is win competitions. So yeah, we've got to put in the hard groundwork first and improve on its performances.
And it's an interesting game this weekend, isn't it? Because you don't want the top teams to get too far ahead of you. You're on 4 from 4, and Huddersfield are exactly the same. You're 7th and 8th at the moment. And a win, would boost you probably into the top 6, I would imagine. A defeat would do the opposite, keep you outside the top 6. So, and you look incredibly evenly matched. It's one of those games where it's hard to predict a winner, never mind predict a margin, and I'm still trying to decide what, because we have a media tipping competition, I'm trying to decide how to predict this game. So, it couldn't be any closer on paper, could it really?
Yeah, like you say, it's going to be a close game. They've got real key threats all over the field, and probably more advantage them as well. Probably because they came off the back of a win and they're on their home surface. So it's going to be a really tough contest. It's going to be backs against the wall at time. I'm really expecting, a real tough contest in the middle. I've just mentioned obviously a couple of blokes who, if we're not on his game, they could quite easily steamroll us down the middle. So it's going to be tough. I expect obviously, it could quite easily come down to 1 point or even one try.
Okay, well, good luck, George, and good luck for the game this weekend. And great to speak to you, mate.
No, cheers. Thank you.